when a huge polar bear suddenly appeared in front of a group of armed poachers holding a tied-up park ranger. No one could have predicted how this encounter would end. A wild creature known for its ferocity and unpredictability was slowly approaching the humans, and its behavior seemed strange even to experienced hunters. What happened next shocked everyone. The thermometer showed record-low temperatures, and icy wind whipped up the snow. John was on his routine patrol across the reserve when a piercing scream broke the Arctic silence. Following the sound through the snow, the ranger discovered a heartbreaking scene. A trapped, exhausted polar bear cub inside a cleverly disguised pit. Its fur was already beginning to crust with ice from the falling snow. Upon inspecting the area, John noticed that the pit walls were intentionally made steep and smooth, and the edges had been poured with water to create a dangerously slippery surface. Drops of blood marked the ice. The cub had injured itself while desperately trying to escape. But that wasn't all. Not far away, a mother bear was caught in a brutal steel trap. Her paw was badly wounded by the steel cables of a professionally installed snare. Time was against the ranger. The temperature kept falling, and the cub's condition was becoming increasingly critical. Acting quickly and methodically, John pulled out his climbing gear and began a rescue operation. Despite his hands going numb from the cold, he assembled a lifting system and, after several attempts, managed to loop a rope around the cub's body. Every movement required extreme caution. Any mistake could cost the fragile cub its life. At that moment, the sound of snowmobiles could be heard in the distance. The poachers were returning to check their traps. Moving faster, John completed the lift, and after confirming that the cub had no serious injuries beyond hypothermia and small cuts, wrapped it in a special thermal blanket. Miraculously, the exhausted cub didn't resist, as if it understood the man was trying to help. Hiding the cub in a safe place, the ranger returned to the mother bear. The lock on the trap proved to be a real challenge. The poachers had used a complex mechanism with triple protection. Every incorrect movement made the lock even harder to open. The bear, sensing the man's good intentions, remained calm, watching him intently with her intelligent dark eyes. The sound of approaching snowmobiles grew louder until 3 armed poachers emerged from the snow. Their leader, a tall man with a gray beard, immediately noticed the empty trap, and his face twisted with rage. John, hiding behind the large form of the mother bear, continued working on the lock. His fingers seemed to find the mechanism by instinct. Just as one poacher noticed movement and raised his rifle, a sudden gust of wind lifted a curtain of snow, briefly blinding the intruders. That brief moment was enough. The lock finally gave way. The freed bear rose to her full, imposing height, like a snow-covered mountain come to life. The poachers froze in shock. John took the opportunity to escape. Behind him, a powerful roar rang out, followed by the terrified cries of men scattering. Watching from a distance, the ranger saw the bear briefly confront the poachers, then quickly find her cub and carry it off to a safe place for the winter. For the next 2 months, John remained on edge. He noticed strange snowmobile tracks in remote areas of the reserve, adjusting his patrol routes accordingly. On one particularly cold day, he came across fresh tracks and began photographing the evidence. Unaware, he was already being targeted by 4 armed men, led by the same gray-bearded leader. Just as things turned grim, but chilling growl pierced the air. A massive white figure appeared as if out of nowhere. The very same bear John had saved 2 months earlier. He recognized her immediately by the scar on her paw. Standing between the poachers and the tied-up ranger, she radiated such menace that even the armed men began slowly backing away. Her behavior was unusual. She didn't attack, but she also didn't let them near John. One of the criminals panicked and reached for his weapon. The bear took a threatening step forward, showing her power. Fear overcame greed, and the poachers fled, dropping their gear in the snow. When the last sounds of their retreat faded into the blizzard, the bear turned to John. Her approach made his heart race. This was a predator over 2 meters tall and weighing more than half a ton, capable of ending a life with a single swipe. Yet her movements were surprisingly gentle. She sniffed the ropes on John's hands, and to his astonishment, began carefully gnawing through them. With remarkable precision, she freed him. The bear stepped back, but didn't leave, as if waiting for him to recover. When John stood up, stretching his numb limbs and quietly thanking his savior, she tilted her head as if understanding his words. In that moment, a bond formed between man and beast. Two beings who had saved each other, connected by mutual gratitude in the middle of the Arctic wilderness. This incredible story of mutual rescue and gratitude proves that even in the harshest corners of the planet, where ancient instincts rule, an extraordinary connection between humans and wild animals is possible. It reminds us that nature can teach us lessons in kindness and appreciation, making us rethink how we relate to the creatures we often label as mere predators.